Once you have added all of your openings to your forms, then it is time to draw your winding object. Next, you'd want to draw out a quick contour of your object. So I'm just kind of showing where the body of the turtle will go as a placeholder. I'm going to come back and add details to it once I have the winding object in place. By drawing the body shape first, it allows me to get the correct angle for the neck of my turtle. Now I'm going to start adding my winding object. So it's going to first go into my form and then it'll come out of my form. So remember, our objects are going to go in and out. I often start with one side of the winding object and then I add in the second side, trying to keep the space between my object even. You also want to watch your angle so that way it does not look like your object is broken if you place it at a different angle. If you are having trouble getting your angle correct, you could draw or continue your object over the top of your forms. Sometimes though, this can get confusing to understand what part of your object to keep and what part of your object to get rid of. I like to use this process, especially with a curving object, so that way I can ensure that my lines add up correctly. Now remember, you can take your winding object off the edge of the page if you need to, but make sure that when you start it again that it looks like it would connect or be at a similar angle to how it left, so that it's believable in its connection points. And remember, you're just going to follow your boxes throughout your space. Remember, look back at your sketch so that way you can be sure of the path that you want your object to take. Now, as I was going, I eventually got to the turtle's head right here and I realized that I had run out of space. So I took a moment and redrew part of my winding object to allow for some more space between my winding object and the boxes, so that way I could add my strawberry at the end of my winding object. Once your winding object is in place, now you need to go back and erase the parts of the object that are hidden. So for example, right here, my object is going into the box, so I would erase the box lines within my object because my object is on top of the box. Okay, so starting at this line, the box now blocks the view of my turtle. So I would erase my winding object right here. And then it's actually going to come out of this opening here. So as soon as I see that oval line, that's where it would start. Now remember, I need to make an adjustment to my oval. So I'm going to make mine just a little bit wider. And then so here would be where I would see my object come back out. So I could see this part, this much of the opening. The rest of it would be hidden by the turtle's neck, okay? Or my winding object. So any box that would be inside this part of my object, I would erase. And I want to be careful I don't erase that part there. So this area is now done. Let's take a look at this one here. So this goes over the top of my box. So right here, I shouldn't see my box in here. And this part of the opening is hidden by the object. Okay, so the object is going to go in right here, and then we don't see the rest of it beyond this opening. Okay, so that means this line here disappears, it's in the box. And these two lines here disappear because they are in the box. So between your openings, that's where your object would disappear. So here is where I would start to see my winding object again. So what that means is the object, since this is what I want to see, I can no longer see this part of the opening or this part of the box. So I would take and erase them, okay? And I could clean up my lines if it was a little messy here. So one of the things that you need to watch when drawing your objects is that you extend your object line all the way until it touches the other side of the opening. This helps to create the illusion that the object is disappearing into the geometric forms. So one of the things that I'm going to show you up here is what you want to avoid. So with this one here, it's going into the box. So I would erase where my object would be hidden by the box. And then what I see sometimes though is that our lines stop short and they just end in the middle of the opening. Make sure that you extend those all the way to the edge.